This is part 2, I guess, of I'm just talking about DPS in the game. ISA I talked about in the last one, part 1, I suppose. Just trying to let you guys know like what is happening, like how and why people are getting crazy amounts of damage, and it's there's not a whole lot of people doing it. I have a pretty good idea of how they're obtaining such massive amounts of the deeps. I set up my Science Odyssey deal to pretty close. I mean, it's Cryptic is assholes, and okay, well, we'll get into that in a second. But I'll change my ship here. I have it fairly closely set up to what people do for a whole bunch of the deeps. What it is people use the Science Tier 6 Odyssey deal, like this one that I have here. Basically, what people do, if they're very coordinated, the people that are getting really high amounts, 300,000 plus DPS, this is basically what they do. They have this ship, coalition beams. What you do is you put on a subspace vortex and feedback pulse. Like every one of them, those are two of the skills that do a lot of damage. Most of their damage actually comes from fire at will, oddly enough. I'll show you some of the stuff on the DPS League charts here in a second. But you want something similar to what I got here. You could change these around a little bit if you wanted. You could do like a level 1 DEM, whatever. This is similar. What you want to do is you want to trade out some of you want a threat. You want to increase threat, but on this skill here, imposing presence, probably you want to switch out one of these for the reflect damage skill, wherever it is, somewhere right here. On the reflect damage, nano probe feedback. Strategist gives you this. It's counter offensive. Reflect 300% of incoming energy weapon damage back to your attacker. Can trigger once every 10 seconds. It only does 40,000 damage, but still definitely helpful when you're doing this feedback pulse. You know, you just reflect back more damage. Neat. Then you're going to need the consoles. You're going to need to have these ones instead of nullifiers. You want amplifiers. So just to make sure you get all the threat. The problem is, well, there's a couple problems. You need these flagship consoles, and these two come from the Star Cruisers, the Odysseys, Tier 6 things, the Science Command and Tactical. I'm using 2 of them. The whole point of using these 2 is that it gives you these buffs, which are extremely good buffs. This one, the only thing you really care about is a 33% firing cycle haste for energy weapons, 15 seconds. Shooting fire at will, 33% faster, super good. And then you also have this one. It gives you 30% all damage for 30 seconds. Both of these are more effective if you're at less than 50% life. So if you're dying, these are even better. But that's the purpose for those 2 consoles. Here's what we'll get into why Cryptic is a bunch of dickbags and they hate me. There's one particular console that came on the Season 6 anniversary ship, and that ship alone pisses me off a lot because that ship alone is ridiculously OP. The stuff that it came with that only the people that were playing for like a 1 month period and actually did the shit to get the ship have, which is goddamn ridiculous. I'll bring up the wiki here and I'll show you like what the ship is. It's the Crenum science vessel and why it's so good. Okay, here's Star Trek wiki. Here's the Crenum science vessel. So anybody that didn't play right here between January 28th and February 24th, 2016, fuck you guys. You don't get this. Tough shit. You don't get the frickin' Crenum dildo ship, so you suck now. The reason you suck is because you don't have this. If you're doing the whole feedback pulse super mega deeps 5000, you need this. This starship trait is plus 50% feedback pulse damage when hit with directed energy while feedback pulse is active, obviously. So feedback pulse does 50% more damage with this. And not only that, it gives 1% crit chance and 5% crit severity for 15 seconds. This ship trait is extremely good. I mean, absolutely necessary if you want to do any sorts of high amount of the feedback pulse build damage. But hey, guess what? Nobody gets this that didn't play between January 28th and February 24th, 2016. Everybody else, suck a dick. You don't get this. Tough shit for you. And if that wasn't enough, just for that one build, it came with one of the best consoles in the game. Okay, that ship came with Universal Timeline Stabilizer Field. You can put this on any ship you want. What it does, it has a 15% cooldown reduction on Science Bridge Officer abilities. That alone is really good. So everything, if you're doing an exotic build, your Gravwell, your feedback pulse, your subspace vortex, whatever you use, those all have 15% reduced cooldown. Just with that alone, exotic damage builds are much better. But not only that, but when you use the skill that this console comes with, it gives you between a 15 and 30% fire cycle haste for all weapons. Holy shit balls. That's good. And then 2 to 4% bridge officer and captain ability recharge time. So not only does it have the 15% for science, everything else gets between a 2 and 4%. Nobody cares about the 50% increased recharge time to the Borg you're killing. I mean, this is really frustrating for PvP, I'm sure, but whatever, that's fine. But nobody gets this console, once again, unless you have the ship, which you have to be playing for a very specific 1 month period to get the anniversary ship. Everybody else, haha, sucks to be you. You don't get one of the best consoles and ship traits in the game. That's why Cryptic is a bunch of dickholes. And they released the ship with, in my opinion, overpowered console and ship trait. I mean, I wouldn't think it was overpowered if I had it. Obviously, I'd be one of those douches. But, you know, I don't have it. So I'll cry like a little bitch about people who do have it. What you do is you just fly in. You want to make sure that you have the threatening stance on. Once again, you have to be the only one in the group that has the threatening stance and all of the threatening consoles on, or else nobody knows who the Borg's gonna hit. Like, if there's two people both fighting to get aggro to get shot at, so their feedback pulse does stuff, then it doesn't work. It has to be one guy doing it, one guy only, or else it's basically pointless. Like, it'll just split the feedback pulse damage in two, and it's dumb. Don't do that. Let's open up this thing here. Official DPS League stuff. Let's pick the highest Federation guy, because Romulans are cheater asses. So shut up. This guy did 433,000 damage. Coalition beams, feedback pulse were absolutely used in this. Let's find out. Alright, 433k there, as you can see. Let's see what he did. Mr. Marcus person. Not talking shit about this Marcus person, even at all. Just trying to explain how and why such large amount of damage is able to happen. Coalition, Disruptor Beam, Firewheel 3 did a vast majority of his damage. Pets, okay, that's another thing I'll show you in a second. Pets, you need the, okay, I'll show you in a second, but Subspace Vortex, exactly. Plasma Explosion from the consoles, of course. Feedback Pulse, didn't do a massive amount of damage, 28k, compared to his 133k from the beams. But Coalition, I don't know, I have a Disruptor Beam video. Go watch it. Coalitions are ridiculously strong in a group. By yourself, you know, it's still good, not as good as in a group. I'd be willing to bet that there's at least a couple other people who had Coalition. So everything this guy was shooting was extremely weak to disruptor damage. Let's just like this guy. Okay, he did 152k. Coalition, Coalition, Coalition. Cool. Also, I highly doubt that he did any sort of feedback pulse, because it's like a one-man thing. No feedback pulse. Okay. This guy. Plasma, Gravity Well, Coalition, Coalition. All this guy did, he did very little damage in comparison to the other two. All he did was shoot out some grav wells and shoot people with Coalition. Fire at will 1. So he just helped debuff everything just by shooting him with these beams, but didn't actually do any damage. So they got the debuff from him, none of the damage. They let our man Marcus here do all the deeps. Once again, Coalition, Terran Task Force, of course, because it's great. Grav wells, that's it. Just Coalition, some grav wells. Didn't do very much damage, 34k. Let's see what this guy did. Anti-proton. So 4 out of 5 people in this group had Coalition beams, 2 of which weren't even trying to do damage. They just wanted to debuff everything for our man Marcus here to just blow them the hell up. So, I mean, there's a good example. I mean, this is really high amount of DPS. Everything in this range is going to be similar. I mean, I could look at a dozen more of these, and I bet you it would be very similar. One guy doing a crazy amount of damage, a couple other people helping to debuff the stuff for him. Your feedback pulse, pets. I'll show you about the pets right now. You need a certain skill tree to use the pets. Another thing that helps a lot if you're doing this is Command Officer skill tree. Now I don't have it leveled up enough, but basically what you're going to want here, because pets equals the this down here, fleet support 3s. These do an actual lot of damage, and especially if you can call them out right away before you're at 50% hull or whatever. Improved command frequency. You don't even need, you just need 15 points, I believe. Removes the low health restriction, so you can call out your pets right away, right after you blow up the first cube, I imagine, is a pretty good time. So when the spheres come out of the gateway, they're right there in the middle. Just call out your pets right away. This is pretty good. This has to be what they use. Like I said, I don't know all of the secrets. I'm not in the cool kids secret club, but it's got to be. I mean, there's no other explanation. It's got to be it. But yeah, instead of temporal operative, you can do command and get those pets right away, and they just rack up the damage. They're not taking any hits because you are. It's just a whole bunch of free damage. Alright, so on my ship here, I mean, I don't have, obviously, the friggin' Krenum dildo console, but, I mean, I have TKC and the bio-neural infusion and a leech, but these two alone actually do quite a bit of this thing, just with this half-ass feedback pulse build, or whatever you want to call it, and I could get probably, I mean, at least 50k, if not closer to 70. I mean, for sure I could get that with this. It's not particularly hard. All I gotta do is stay threatening, hit a couple science skills, and fire will your ass off. And if you're in a really good team and you have all the stuff that not everybody can get, then yeah, you could potentially do that 300 to 400k mark just by using one of these Science Star Cruiser. And one more time, it's just, I mean, Iconian set the consoles from 2 of the 3 Star Cruisers, the Leech, and then I just have these 2 because I don't have the Krenum console. Whatever, I mean, you could change these out for crit chance, whatever you want to do. So, anyways, that's my complaining about Star Trek being a clusterfuck of nonsense. The DPS you do, it depends on the team. Depends. Hopefully you have a cool team that just helps you debuff everything, and they don't actually do any of the damage themselves, but you know, they sure as hell help you destroy stuff, and then you can get on the top of the old deeps meter chart and be cool. I guess that's all. I'll whine about for now. If anybody has any questions or want me to rant about anything else that's annoying on this game, let me know. I'll be happy to. Yeah, so I'll see you later.